All right, you're new to F&I, so this could be a training lesson for you. All right, I'm here with Deshaun Wright.
Yes, sir.
And so we originally, a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, filmed you as a sales consultant.
Yes,
and
sir.
we talked about your aspirations and everything, and here you are. Where do you see yourself in 3 years?
Move up.
Move
Moving
up.
up. Yeah.
Move up.
Move on up. Go through
So-
the ranks.
Awesome. So you went from reconditioning into sales. What do you feel the next step is for you?
Finance.
Finance? Okay, you're going to have to wait for Joe now.
Yeah.
In F&I, and you've been in F&I how long?
Less than a month.
Less than a month, and you're enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
So far, right?
A lot.
And I handed you a playbook.
Right.
You went through the playbook.
I did.
And you did some pretty good numbers the first month.
Thank you, sir.
And you're on your way.
That's right.
What was the most difficult part of the whole deal in the beginning, in your opinion?
Learning everything. Learning all the paperwork, where they need to sign, where I need to sign. That's a big part of it. Just getting the whole finance aspect down of it, or the whole,
Right.
Mhm.
Because it's a lot different than selling cars.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I know this is probably an easy question to answer for everybody watching us, but what was the most difficult transition for you going from sales to F&I at this point, in the time you've been in it? What was the most difficult
As far as what exactly?
paperwork?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Responsibility?
Yeah. No.
You still feel you have the same responsibility?
No, I definitely have more responsibility now.
Absolutely, right?
But yeah, I've always been that kind of guy to just take responsibility of everything.
All right. And what would you say was the hardest part up to this point in learning the F&I position?
Well, right now it's learning objections. That's where we're at now.
It's the hardest part, right?
Absolutely.
What do you think is the easiest part of this whole deal?
Now it's getting the paperwork ready.
Okay.
we flip-flop.
And that's what I want to talk about, getting the paperwork ready, pre-delivery setup, right? Now, you're about to do a delivery in approximately an hour, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it's a lease customer, a previous lease customer from your sister Honda store.
Correct.
All right. And they bought, and what are they leasing?
The new vehicle they're leasing is a Palisade.
All right. How did you prepare yourself prior to going into the F&I presentation? Or you actually set up a delivery time with them, right?
Correct, yes.
When did they purchase the car? A couple of days ago or a day ago?
2 days ago, yes.
2 days ago. And did you speak to them that day?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. And what did you do that day? What was the most important thing that you felt you did that day to set yourself up for success? Or not so much success, but to influence them to enhance their lease experience. What did you do that day?
Essentially putting a face to the name, going out there saying, "Hey, my name is such and such, I'm gonna be taken care of." Well, not such and such, my name's Deshaun, but
Right, yeah, exactly. I got you.
But yeah, going out there, putting a face to the name, saying that I'm gonna be the one handling their paperwork, and then once they do get here, set them a realistic time frame. Whenever say, "Hey, I'm just wrapping up a couple of different things here, and I'll have you back in so and so minutes."
Okay. So they're coming in at 11 o'clock today.
Mhm.
All right. And what are you doing now to prepare yourself for when they get here?
I got as much of their paperwork printed and loaded as I can. Just waiting to get a couple more things from them or from my salesperson before I can load everything else.
So what are you waiting for from the sales consultant? This is an important question because I think a lot of F&I managers are always waiting for things from the sales consultant or sales manager.
Well, I have a whole list here. We're waiting on insurance card, a license. They got to sign some things. I need the new car miles. There's a couple things on there.
Can I ask you a real dumb question?
If I can give you a real dumb answer.
Why wouldn't they have that information the day that the customer actually leased the car or agreed to lease the car?
Be too difficult.
Explain to me why it's too difficult. And you were a sales consultant.
Yeah, no, it's not too difficult. It's not.
It's a matter of just saying what?
Hey, can I have these? So that way everything's ready for you beforehand.
All right, you're new to F&I, so this could be a training lesson for you. Did you know you didn't have that information 2 days ago? Why didn't you?
Yesterday, whenever I started getting it ready, salesperson was already gone, so I contacted him this morning.
Okay, so why didn't you verify that information the day they were here when they actually agreed to lease the car? Why didn't you say, look at the paperwork from the sales consultant when you went out and to meet and greet the customer, like you said, put the name with the face? Why didn't you do that before? So that you would have everything ready before they get here. Now that could be a learning curve, Deshaun. I'm just saying, this is in my opinion, this is a mistake a lot of F&I managers make. They don't set themselves up properly, and the delay and waiting time for customers and everything is exactly what you just said. As an F&I manager, I think it's really important that you verify you have all the information that you need to properly set up the deal, regardless of when the delivery is. For example, let's assume that the deal was done over the internet. The customer never even came to the dealership. Everything was agreed upon through your CRM.
Right.
And the sales manager signed off on it, and the customer decided to come in 2 days to pick up the vehicle. As an F&I manager, I would contact that customer and explain to them, I realize this was all done over the internet. I'm going to need some information and some documents sent to me to verify everything so that I have everything ready for when you come in. Now, I know you did that because you said you called them. Why didn't we do that day? Because in my opinion, in my mind, and think about this, if you were to do that, if you were to grab the license, grab the insurance card, and all the things that you're looking for now, that list that you're looking for now, that day, you would have solidified that deal even more. And as a manager, that's what we need to do. You would have locked that customer down. You got a copy of the license, you got a copy of the insurance card, you got all the information you need. Now all you're going to do is input the information, because you have accurate information, into the computer. But that's the great point I wanted to share with everybody, okay? And again, you're new to F&I, and I don't consider that a mistake until it happens again.
Right.
That makes sense? So that's a learning curve. And I think it's really important that the next time that were to happen, that when you go out and meet and greet the customer, or prior to going out and meet and greet the customer while they're in the showroom, get that information from the sales consultant, because what you're creating is you're creating mediocrity. The sales consultant is getting away with it, so they'll continue to do that. And as an F&I manager at the end of your title, you manage those people by telling them, get the information I need, let me go out and meet and greet the customer and explain to them what the next steps are. And you have all the information there, and you sit down with them and say, folks, I have all the information that I need so I can properly set up the deal for when you come in 2 days. And if I need any additional information, I'll give you a call. And that is like professionalism. That's giving the customer what I call the dimpty. But let's skip all that, all right? Because I know you've been doing some research. I know that they bought the car from your sister's store, and you have communication with your sister's store. And I think one of the questions you asked your sister's store is, what products did they buy in their previous lease? Because they're turning in a Honda lease, and they're leasing a Palisade.
Correct.
So when you asked them, what was the answer you got when you asked them what they bought?
A whole lot of nothing.
Nothing at all. They didn't buy nothing at all?
Nothing at all.
And is that exactly how the F&I manager explained it to you?
Yeah. He said, I'd be the bearer of bad news, but...
That's what he said? I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah.
And how did you take that?
With a grain of salt, because now that makes me want to sell them something.
Oh my God, that's exactly what I wanted you to say, and that wasn't rehearsed. That's beautiful. So what is your plan? Knowing that they didn't buy anything last time, and take it with a grain of salt, whatever. How are you going to set up your menu or your presentation, or what's going through your mind based on the information or any information that you gathered from them? How would you play that game film, that mental prep? Are you going through any mental prep right now in that deal?
In a way, yeah. I was kind of just playing around with the menu a little bit in there just to kind of see. Big thing, of course, being lease care. That's a big benefit to leasing a vehicle.
Okay, I agree. And what's the benefit of lease care?
What's the benefit of it? You're covered for $2,000 after the fact.
For what type? For what?
For like excess wear and tear. Yeah,
okay.
Excess wear and tear.
And what's considered normal wear and tear?
That's a fine line between normal wear and tear and excess wear and tear.
So how are you going to explain to the customer the benefits of excess wear and tear?
That estimation tool.
What estimation tool?
Right here.
This one right here? This Hyundai estimation tool?
Yeah.
The one that every consumer is going to get prior to the lease end?
Correct.
The same as Honda, they got with the Honda? When they inspected the vehicle or looked at the vehicle that the customer is turning in, did you inquire if there was any damage to that vehicle, any missing keys? Or
That's what I was looking at when you came in. In the folder, usually they'll have in there what, hey, there's a dent here on the car, there's a ding here.
Okay.
That's not in there this time, which unfortunate, but I'll have to talk to them about it.
See, these are the things and missing. This is a really good learning experience for not only new F&I managers, but F&I managers that have been doing this a long time. These are the minor things, the little things. And we often talk about a little plus a little plus a little equals a lot. By the way, I got that from David Lewis. It's not mine. If he ever watches this video, he's going to say, that's mine. It is yours, David. But I believe it. These little things that are missing, these little things like the inspection report not in the deal jacket, the license and the insurance card, these are all things that wear you down. And if they were there, all you now have to focus on is that game film, that mental prep. So besides all that, what else, when you spoke to the customer, what are your feelings about the customer, and what sense did you get, or what connection do you feel you made with that customer that will benefit them as well as you in presenting the products to them that you have available?
So like just impressions of the customer in general?
Yeah. Your impression of the customer in general.
So it's going in husband and wife's name. Wife was the only one here. So the reason that husband wasn't here, they have a child at home.
Okay.
And one has to take care of it. Or it. My apologies.
No, exactly. I get it.
One has to take care of the child. One can go run everything. So that's why they agreed today to come in at 11. It's the only time they could both come.
Okay.
So that's why I don't have his license.
All right. So you have her license, but you don't have his license.
I don't have his license, and the insurance card they gave me was invalid. That's the only one they have.
Right, so
I've looked into stuff.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that does make sense. All right. I'm glad you said that, because when the husband wasn't here, it makes sense where you wouldn't have the husband and you have to make the phone call to get it. I get that. Perfect. Okay. That's a little different.
I looked at it.
No. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you clarified that. Okay. But you did take at heart what I said.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely,
cool.
Yeah.
All right. So the wife, I would assume that do you feel like she is the decision maker in the family?
I mean,
it's in the husband and wife's name, but is she going to be the primary driver of the vehicle?
He's the primary.
He's the primary.
He's the primary.
So when they come in and they sit in front of you and you go through all the paperwork and you get to the presentation of products, I would assume that you're going to direct the presentation to the husband.
No, I tried not to.
All right.
I tried not to. Divert it to both of them.
All right. Okay. All right. Where would you put all the emphasis on? Or whom would you put the emphasis on?
Whoever's going to be the primary driver.
Have you gathered any information about the husband's driving habits?
Today's going to be the first day I talked to him now.
All right. So you haven't spoken to him yet. All right. So you're preparing yourself mentally for this deal. All right. And you've set up your menu and you're going into the presentation, and you feel that the biggest benefit that you have to offer them would be the least wear and care. What about the combo product that you have available with the tire and wheel and the painless dent removal, the key replacement, windshield? Isn't that a benefit to them too?
Absolutely.
Because there's two differences. There's the lease care pays at lease end, while the bundle pays while you're driving. And how long are they leasing it for?
36 months.
36 months. And how many miles is their lease set up for?
12,000.
12,000. Okay, so they're probably going to turn. Did you ask them what they're going to do at lease end? Whether they turn it in? Did you ask them the question? And I know we've talked about this before. And again, what is it? Maybe your 8th or 9th lease?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, it's not a lot. You haven't done a lot of leases.
Right.
I mean, how many deals have you done?
Right.
You've maybe done what, 40 deals so far?
Just about, yeah.
Right. And I'm talking to people who've done maybe 800 deals. You know what I mean?
Right. So
the point I'm trying to make is, one of the things that I would ask a customer, regardless, even if they're turning in a lease, is, I know you're turning in this Honda, but how many leases have you done in the past? And what's your reason for leasing this vehicle? And I think today, in today's economy, with the interest rates the way they are, most people are going to say because of the payments.
Right.
So do you feel you're well prepared for this customer?
Yeah, once I have all my ducks in a row. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ready to go?
A bit more. Yeah.
And all I'm doing is sitting here tying you up to make that phone call to the husband, right?
That's right.
All right. The estimation tool, how are you going to use that? What if the customer says, I don't need any of that? I don't need, that's fine. I never get that stuff. My cars are in really good condition. I don't really need any of that. And by the way, they have a little child, right? Do they have any other kids?
The one child is the only one that I know of, because the one they have to take care of.
Must be a new child, right?
Disability child.
Huh?
He has a disability.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So this may benefit them with their child as well in the car, because when they turn in the lease, because the interior could get soiled and stuff like that. So I'm just giving you some recommendations how you present this wear card.
Right.
So if the customer says to you, look, I don't need any of that. I don't want any of that. Because I don't think this is the type of customer who's going to say to you, I don't want my payments to go up. I think it's the type of customer, and this is the game film that I'm playing in my head, based on the information you're sharing with me. It seems like the wife, they know what they're doing. The wife comes in, sets everything up. You're going to call the husband. They're excited to come in and pick up the vehicle. In my mind, I'm thinking this isn't the type of customer that's going to say to them, because they're buying a Palisade, it's an expensive car. This isn't the type of customer that's going to come in and say to you, no, I don't want my payments to go up. I can't afford it. I'm on a budget. I don't think the customer's going to say that. I think the customer's just going to say to you, look, I lease all the time. The reason we lease is this is why we lease, because we like to change our cars every 3 years. Or maybe they're changing their vehicle now because of a lifestyle change with their child and stuff like that. Who knows? These are some of the things that we should find out. So how would you overcome a customer saying to that customer, this particular customer, in your opinion, saying to you, nah, I don't want any of that? Where would you go when the customer says, nah, I don't want any of that? I'm not interested. Really, really not interested.
That's where I ask your opinion.
All right, well, I'm going to set you up, okay?
Okay.
And I'm glad you asked me, okay? Folks, I get it, all right? These options aren't for everybody, all right? But I think one of the most important options, especially in today's economy, is the WHAM difference, okay? You have 6 months of coverage, and I think extending that coverage for the full term of the lease would be the best benefit to you, because it's going to cover you for tire and wheel damage, dings and dents, windshield coverage, paint and fabric, and key replacement, okay? And that will pay for damages to those areas throughout the whole term of the lease. So you don't have to worry about anything at lease end. And that's only an additional whatever it is per month that you charge. And I think you would benefit from that. And even if you don't use it, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you're still going to have peace of mind knowing that you have it. That's how I would present that. And then if they purchase that, then you can go and say to them, this is another consideration, and explain to them what happens at lease end. All right? At lease end, within 90 days of lease end, the manufacturer, in this case is Hyundai, is going to send you what they call a lease end kit. And in that lease end kit, there's going to be a self-evaluation tool. It's the size of a credit card. Here it is right here. There's an example of it. Here's another example of other manufacturers' lease end cards, which I went over with you the other day. But this is the Hyundai one. And you show them this is Hyundai. And they're going to send this to you in the mail. All right? It's going to be nice and blue like the Hyundai logo. And they're going to give you an opportunity to inspect the vehicle yourself or have an inspector come to your home and inspect it. And if there's any type of damage beyond the tolerances on this card, Hyundai is going to charge you for it. And with this program, all you have to do is send the bill that Hyundai sent you to this company, and they'll pay for it. So, with that said, how's that sound?
Sounds good.
But that's how I would present it. I'd be very casual in my approach, all right? I haven't met these people, but based on you seem very comfortable with these. I think you're prepared, but I think in your presentation, I think the objection at the end is going to be, I just simply don't have any interest in that stuff, all right? And sometimes you have to drive it that most people have interest, and let me tell you why. Especially where they have the 6 months of coverage, which you give. Enhancing that 6 months of coverage and extending for the whole term of the lease, you should benefit, and explain to them the difference in price. And I think you'll score a victory for both them and yourself. Okay? Go get them, baby.
Go get them.
Until next time, go get them.